All right, it is December 7th, 2025. It is a windy, cloudy day here in Cape Canaveral. And I am on our boat, and I am recording episode 1. And if you watched last week's episode, you know we are already doing much better by 100% than our first vlogging attempt. Last week we discussed how did we get here in terms of getting ready to even purchase a boat. And this week, in the spirit of last week's video, we're going to continue that trend of bringing everyone up to speed on how I'm now currently sitting on my boat in a boatyard with my family, with my husband making repairs on the boat. You might hear those in the background, and my kids fighting in a bedroom somewhere. So last week we ended our video on the boats we looked at in Fort Lauderdale, and this week we're going to talk about the boat we chose, the boat I am currently sitting on, why we chose it, and then catapult you all the way to us moving here and what that whole process looked like for selling our house and physically being with our whole family here in Florida, living on a boat in a boatyard before Christmas. So to begin, before we tell you the boat that we bought, let's review again the 6 boats that we toured and looked at while we were in Fort Lauderdale. There's one that was very high on our list that we were really ready to put an offer on, and then ultimately decided not to and chose probably a worse choice. But that's okay, because that's what we wanted. So I'm going to use my notes now. Let's review. The 6 boats we looked at were first a 2001 Leopard 47. Then we looked at a 2011 Lagoon 42. And then we looked at a 2014 Fountaine Peugeot 41. Then we looked at a 2012 Lagoon 400. Then we looked at another Lagoon, a 2000 410. And finally, we ended our trip to Fort Lauderdale with looking at a 2000 Manta 42. So those are the 6 boats we looked at. That's how much we could cram in. We also were hoping to look at 2 different boats in addition to these other ones. We wanted to look at one that was the body of a Royal Cape catamaran. And then we also wanted to look at another one that was, what was the other body, Josh?
What?
There was also a Privilege that wasn't super close to us, and we decided not to take the like hour and a half to 2 hour car ride north to look at it. So there was a couple we weren't able to look at in real life, and that's okay. The brokers were weird or they were too far, but we got to look at 6, and that was huge for us because they were actual boats relatively within our price range, more or less in the size that we knew we wanted. And from there, we found our boat. We had spent essentially 2 full days looking at boats, and the kids were exhausted, but there was one boat that we had looked at and we just had this feeling that we needed to go back and look at it again. And so on our last day in Florida, full day, we asked our broker to take us back to that boat so we could look at it again. And that looking again turned into a game plan session for let's put an offer on this boat. And without the encouragement of our broker, we probably wouldn't have done it, especially because the boat was at a price range that was a little higher than we had hoped. We didn't think it was worth that much. Our broker helped us decide to offer more or less a pretty big lowball offer just to see what happened. And so we kind of took a chance, and our broker got on the phone with that broker. They had a chat that we got to listen to, and we formally put an offer on, sitting in the cockpit of that boat before we even left Fort Lauderdale. So check it out.
Yeah, exactly. The bag's shot.
But the good news is the chain looks nice.
Hey, it's got good booms and it's got extra refrigeration. It's got a lot of pluses, but it really needs a new owner.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell by that video, we chose to put down an offer and ultimately purchase several weeks later the first boat that we looked at, the 2001 Leopard 47. She was in rough shape and we knew needed some TLC, we knew needed some big projects done on it, but we were more or less not throwing caution to the wind, but saying let's lowball this offer and see how low we can get the price of this boat to be to make it worth it for us to dump money into it, to fix it up and make it how we want it and to set sail with it. Ultimately, why we chose this Leopard 47 was a couple of things. First, the price point that we could eventually negotiate down to. Second, it was the size. The 47 was by far the biggest boat we looked at. All the other boats we looked at were between 40 and 42 feet long. Third, the number of rooms. It had 4 actual bedrooms, which is what we needed, at least. And then as we did more research, learning that this model of Leopard is very well built, very sturdy, safe catamaran. I wasn't a huge fan of Leopards, just aesthetically, but it definitely grew on me as time went on, and the fact that these are well built and they're actually pretty fast boats compared to like a Royal Cape, which is a just behemoth of a catamaran, and they're just bigger and slower and meant for slow days in tropical weather and nice waters, and we may not always be in that type of scenario, so we wanted a boat that could also maneuver fairly quickly. And that's a huge safety thing too, where we're not going to be racing more, but we want to be able to get out of tricky situations or sketchy situations if they sneak up on us and we aren't prepared for weather or whatever it may be. So let's fast forward, put an offer down, we go back to Utah. The owner counters with us, and their counter offer was still within the price range that we were willing to move forward with this boat. So the owner countered. And the next step is we have to do a haul out and a survey. So similar to a home where you have a home inspection, Josh then flew back out to Fort Lauderdale with our broker. We got a captain, we got a surveyor, and we did that. So check out these clips. So as far as the survey goes, it really is just like a home inspection. You have an individual who comes and looks at the boat when it's in the water, when it's out of the water, and while it's running in the water. So Josh got to actually be on our boat for a sea trial, and then he got to be there with the surveyor when they hauled it out. And the surveyor's whole purpose is just to call out everything they see. And I mean, it's not perfect, it's a snapshot in time, very similar to a home inspection, but he advised that we actually are still paying too much for this, and he even more significantly lowered what he thought the boat was worth based on the current state. And I think he also kind of thought we were crazy for buying this boat, but to some extent we knew what we were getting into. I say that with a caveat, but to some extent we knew. So Josh flies back home, we talked to our broker about it, and we said, shoot, let's go $5,000 lower than what the surveyor told us to offer, or not pay more than, and just see what happens. And truly, we did not in 100 years anticipate this offer getting accepted, but we were like, why the heck not? Let's do it. Let's get through all the way this boat buying process. And then we'll have one under our belt, so we're ready for the next one. And then we can start the process anyways of just getting our life ready and fully commit to making the changes we needed to make to move on to a boat, even if this wasn't the boat. So starting to get our house ready to sell, moving in with family, figuring out our job situation, kiddos' school, start homeschooling, all these things. We just said, you know what, we're like for real ready to make this happen. So let's just dive in anyways, no matter what happens with this boat. But to our utter amazement, check it out. Hey Josh, what just happened?
So they accepted our incredibly low offer on this project.
We have a boat.
So now we have a giant project and no job, and
We have a job. Josh already knew it was a giant project, and we just didn't think it would happen. It is Tuesday, July 29th, 12:51 p.m. We dropped off our foster son yesterday. Our son had tonsillectomy surgery today. And now we have a 47-foot Leopard catamaran in Fort Lauderdale that needs some work that Josh is so excited to do.
It's a lot of work. It floats, the engines run.
Floats, the engines run, and it was cheap.
Yeah, I mean,
And now we get to rebuild it to our specs.
I have over $100,000 to put into it, so. Okay.
It's gonna be rad. Josh can't process this. He's not tolerating this one.
I'm like dying now. And this is okay.
Just because you didn't think they would accept the offer?
I didn't think they would accept the offer.
Well, the counter to the counter. The post survey. Low ball.
Yeah.
It's okay, Josh. We're just making this dream happen. And it's painful. And it's scary. And it's exciting. We have a boat!
Yep.
Woo! He'll come around.
Yep. Okay. I don't even know what to do.
Stay tuned. Okay, as of today, we officially own the boat.
Yep, we bought it. It's ours.
What do you think?
Amazing!
Yep.
Happy and sad.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah, same here with Ray.
Yeah.
Same here.
Pretty wild.
Friends.
But your friends already moved.
Other friends.
Oh.
So after we wrapped our heads around the fact that we were literally boat owners, we owned a boat in Fort Lauderdale, and we were in Utah, we kind of went into full panic survival mode. And have pretty much been in that state ever since, I think. We then more or less started taking the actions that we had already discussed taking, and we're trying to do it in real time. So we got our house ready to sell. Josh pretty much got our house ready to sell. We got the house packed up. We moved out. We moved back to Idaho, back in with family, because that was part of our plan. To enable us to get into the boat. And that was done entirely the wrong way, because we were trying to move to one house, but then also trying to move to another house, and it just became a whole freaking mess. But after about a month and a half of that, Josh driving back and forth multiple times between Idaho and Utah to help us get moved, we were finally moved. And also, huge shout out to the kid down the street that also helped us, because he was a huge lifesaver in helping us.
All right, the end of an era. Everything's gone. This is the last 7 years. Walk through now. This is it. Nothing else is in here. So we are donezo. Donezo. I mean, the cleaning ladies are going to come clean this up, but yep, make sure the door's locked. Yep, ooh, it wasn't. And we'll go out the base. But there we go. Now on to our new adventure.
Here. Put your arms around each other. This is the last time you're going to be in this house together. Isn't that crazy? Turn around and wave goodbye to the house. Turn around and wave goodbye to the house. Okay.
Counting down to vacation, waited long enough. I long to swim in blue waters. Time for adventure, full of relaxation. Away with stress, the wind in our hair. The cool water invites us for a cool dip. Summer is coming. We drive for hours to the south. Our patience is soon rewarded. The prospects are
We finally get all the way moved to Idaho. Finally get the house listed, and our house sells incredibly fast, and we are so grateful. We get all the way moved to Idaho, and then we gotta send Josh out to Florida to start working on the boat.
Here we are. Woo! Here we are. This is now my boat, and I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Day one was yesterday. Here we go. So, got to the boat after all the travel, staying in like the cheapest hotel I could find that wasn't a hostel. The hotel's clean. It's clean. The Wi-Fi, I don't understand what's going on with it, but that's okay. Anyway, got to the boat. Starboard hull is full of water. Man, what have we done? I mean, I knew the bilge pumps weren't working well, but yeah. So hopefully that didn't cause any huge issues. But I'm gonna go get a pump today, and probably just buy. I may end up wasting money. I hope not. I'm gonna go buy a Harbor Freight pump probably first, and then just depending on the cost. I need some screwdrivers from them anyway. And then I don't want to run too many errands. I want to be working on the boat, but I got to get the water out of there to start with. I did find some things like all of the courtesy lights, like the stairway lights and stuff. So the little ones that like shine down. They're bright blue LEDs, which I think is a weird choice. They should be red. I don't know why they're blue. But they work. That's cool. And I got the fan to work, the big weird ceiling fan that we're going to take out, but I got it to work. Noel didn't get that, so that was cool. The surveyor didn't get it, I guess I should say. And I managed to get all of the lights, the nav lights work except for the stern one, so that's cool, and I can reach the stern one. It's just right up by the hardtop. I don't know why. I don't know where it's supposed to be, but I guess that's okay. And there's a leak above the nav station, but that's also okay. The chart plotter, I couldn't get to zoom in and out, which I don't remember being a thing, so maybe we'll have to replace that sooner than I wanted. Couldn't get any of the lights under the hardtop in the cockpit to work, so I'm not sure if I don't know where the switch is or what. I couldn't get the lock. I couldn't find the key, but I think I found the key to the door. There were more good tools than I thought, like, on board. Not a bunch, but more than I thought. I thought there would be hardly anything. And that's just going through the very beginning. I haven't really gone through much. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out how the lights even worked, and I had a big problem with the battery bank. It was like well, the shore power is off, and I don't know why exactly, but whatever. So I turned it on, and then like the battery bank wouldn't charge, so then I flipped it over to the other battery bank. In theory, the inverter charger should have cut it off if it used so much battery, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Switched it over, that charged fine, and I could run all the DC stuff. I don't remember having to flip that battery switch at all, so that's weird. So I gotta attack the battery bank, but first I gotta get the water out of the hull. So that's our like 5-minute update. There's like a buttload of water, like the floorboards are floating in the cabins. Thank goodness everything else should be pretty okay, but I'm gonna attack the water first and then start on everything else. All right, I thought I would do this before I started the transfer, or the pumps. They're just utility pumps from Harbor Freight, but we've got, I don't know, 12 inches of water back here, which is awful. And there's water down in the bilge down there and over there, everywhere. Other side's dry. So I haven't looked in the engine bay yet. Let's look there and see how bad that is. Oh yeah, there's water in the engine bay, but it didn't get to the battery box, so that's good. All right. Well, see if we can get it out, so we can get the bilge pumps working, so we can get this bad boy on the road. Woo! Water coming out! Yay! Suppose we could clean the boat off with it. Might as well, right? And look at that, we're getting ahead of it. We're coming up out of the water. We used to be down. Yes, we've got an inch up already. Woo! All right, we got a ways to go, but at least it's coming. All right, let's. Well, it's not an exotic spot, but it is a pretty morning. I'm out here working on my boat, which is pretty cool. Right, sun's coming up. It's a little cloudy. Hasn't got too hot yet. Not too bad. It's gonna suck in about an hour when it gets hot. But that's okay. If you ever use silicone on your boat, especially on the non-skid, I will find you and hunt you down and gut you like a fish. This stuff is abysmal. Ugh. We do this for like an hour. Got the dinghy running. Floating. It's not patched yet though, so we'll see. Anyway, pretty sweet. Talk to you later. Head sail. Well, now we're ready to move on tomorrow. At least, maybe.
So our original plan, which as they tell you in boat life, is to never have a plan that you can't change. Because you will be significantly humbled by boat life and scheduling and plans and weather and timing. But our original plan was the kids and I would move in with family in Idaho. We would send Josh to Florida and he would spend about 2 to 3 weeks in Fort Lauderdale fixing up the boat so that it could move, because we had to actually haul it out, hence why I'm in a boatyard right now, haul it out to do some more of the upgrades we needed to make it just livable and insurable. Well, alas, we bought a boat during hurricane season, which we were aware of, and we talked to a broker about it, but that delayed our plans of getting the boat moved by almost 2 full weeks. We just weren't able to move it north. We had found a marina up in northern Florida. Josh would have to sell the boat 150 miles to get it there north, which isn't like that big a deal. But with the hurricane season and the tropical systems continuing to come through, we couldn't get a good weather window. So he was there for a couple weeks. He worked a lot on the boat, just got familiar with it. And then when he was ready to move, we just kept getting blocked by weather. And then we were unable to find a captain. And then we had a really good weather window finally. And we just called some new friends that we had kind of made randomly through our Blue Water cruising group that we had joined, if you watched the last video. And the husband was like, yeah, okay, hope you guys move your boat. So he, incredibly kind of him and his wife, they drove down to Fort Lauderdale. He got on the boat with Josh, helped Josh move it back up to where we're at in Cape Canaveral, because their boat is up here too. And Josh was finally able to haul out the boat.
It's also the first time I've had lights outside. Look. Yay.
Our next set of plans was once he got here, it would be like max of 4 weeks that he would be here. And then he would finish the boat, and then we would move everyone across the country and we would launch the boat. So when we bought the boat, there were 2 soft spots, and it literally means what it sounds like. They were soft areas of the boat. This one was the ceiling. Josh is trying to cut out the ceiling and find all the wood that's been rotten and made just completely soft and unsafe. And now he's showing me the floor, which where the other soft spot was, and he's showing us that the washing machine that was in the kitchen was pumping water underneath the floor, unbeknownst to probably the previous owners as well as us, just ruining the wood underneath.
First class on the boat. Lots more to go. It's only 2 a.m.
So what we thought was supposed to be 4 weeks worth of Josh being away from us turned into upwards of 49 days. And Josh and I talked almost every day on the phone. He would give me updates on the boat and I would help him with what I could back at home. He had quit his job to go out to work on the boat. And that wasn't really the plan originally, but just circumstances led to he wasn't able to work while he worked on the boat and live in Florida. So I was also working full-time remotely. Very grateful to my company for letting me do that. And I was homeschooling our kids and just doing the parent thing, but also trying to help Josh where I could from that far away with tasks that I could handle. But there came a point where things were just taking too long, and we decided that we were apart for too long and we needed to be back together as a family. Birthdays were missed, Halloween happened. It was really hard. It was hard on all of us. It was especially hard on Josh. So we came to that conclusion and we just said, you know what? We got to be back together as a family. The boat's not done. It's not done. Let's get an Airbnb for a certain number of days, and then I can be there and I can help with more of the manual labor stuff. The kids should be okay hanging out at the Airbnb or on the boat doing homeschool. Kramer will be fine. Let's just fly you home and move everything across the country. And so that's what we did. Yeah, change plans again, and so we pivoted, and that was our pivot. To wrap up episode 1, our second video, and the beginning part 2 of our SV No Bad Weather documentary series. So until then, First Mate Sam signing off. Thank you for all the love and support, No Bad family. We are so grateful for all of our family and friends who have continued to support us, and just know that your prayers and your love are felt, because we have had some really hard days. We've had really big highs and we've had really big lows, and we'll share all of that here on SV No Bad Weather with the No Bad Weather fam. Until then, ride the tsunami. And we love you guys. See ya. Well, as with everything in sailing life and boat life, we had another change of plans. We are checking out of our Hotel Anderson, and we are heading east.